What is good? What is up? It's Jordan or Texans Thoughts, and I'm back with another Texans film breakdown. Today, we are going to be looking at free agent safety Michael Thomas that we signed from the New York Giants. You know, it's funny, I put off watching our new safeties for as long as possible, hoping that we would maybe sign Eric Reed or trade for Jamal Adams, and when I was putting off their film, there was kind of the narrative that, Eric Murray was awful and that Michael Thomas, he was actually going to be solid and an underrated signing. However, after watching the film, my opinions on them has basically flipped, and it's a really great example to show that narratives and stats and PFF grades, they don't mean shit, and the film is what trumps everything in my opinion. So I really saw Murray's value to the team, and while he's still not amazing, I really understand why we signed him. And as for Thomas, I was honestly a bit disappointed, unfortunately. I didn't really like his tape. I was hoping he'd actually be the better safety to start next to Jay Reed, but unfortunately I think he's mainly going to be a special teamer. But that's okay, that's what he's always been, and he's damn good at it. So I'm going to look at everything he brings to the Texans today, and if you enjoyed the video, please do hit that like button, subscribe for more content, and comment down below your thoughts on the video. Also, we've got an awesome website and weekly podcast, Texans Unfiltered, so if you're itching for more Texans content and haven't checked those out, the links will be in the description. Alright, now let's break down the film of Michael Thomas, because the film don't lie. So of course we got to start it off by talking about his role in the special teams, and you'll see here that the position that he plays is called the punt protector, the personal protector, and so he's not going to be a gunner, he's not going to be running down the sidelines, you're not going to see him making a ton of tackles. But what he does do is protect the punter from getting hit or the kick being blocked, and that's a very important role, very underrated. He's that last line of defense essentially, and that's a role that Jay Reed plays, so maybe they're trying to get him off of special teams so that to preserve his health. And it's not like he can't make tackles, as you can see here. He hustles his ass off. He's the farthest man from the return man when the ball is punted, you know what I mean? And yet he's still somehow the first one down here. That's crazy. And he does it again on this play, and yeah, he misses the tackle, but then he hustles back into the play. He doesn't give up. He helps on the tackle, and he punches the ball out too at the end there. So I just love what Michael Thomas brings. He does punt team, he does kick team, he's a special teams ace, and that's much needed for the Texans because we did lose special teams coordinator Brad Seeley, who he completely changed our special teams over one offseason. It was crazy. And so his loss is huge, but we brought in a bunch of players. We brought in Michael Thomas, Jalen Watkins, who is another special teams ace, and so I really hope that our special teams can return to peak form, because last year was amazing, and I finally don't have heart attacks anymore when we punt or kick the ball off, assuming that they're going to return it for 6. Man, I was so tired of those days. And so the word is that assistant special teams coach Tracy Smith is going to be taking over, and he's who Brad Seeley groomed throughout his career, so I really hope that there's not much of a drop off. So moving on from special teams, the next thing we're going to talk about is his tackling. And when he's not playing special teams, he was kind of like the third or fourth safety for the Giants for a while, and he would mainly be a strong safety in the box, and his tackling is fairly good. And so on this play, the Bills, they're going to be running to the weak side, and the number game doesn't look good early on. The Giants don't really have a force player to the outside here, and they don't have a lot of guys on the second level because they are stacking that strong side. And so Thomas's role as the box safety is very important here at stopping any run that's able to get past the D line. And coming from this angle, playing it from the backside is very tough, but he's able to take a great pursuit angle, fills the run lane nicely, and makes a solid tackle to hold this to a smaller gain than it definitely could have been. And this Eagles game in 2019 is one of the only games in his career that he actually started and played majority of the snaps, and he did really well. 12 tackles and a tackle for loss, and here's the tackle for loss on the play, and he does really well to avoid the block by the O-line, get into the backfield, and shut it down. That's really great. That's a high impact play in the small sample size that we have of him actually starting. And that small sample size is what really makes his evaluation tough, because I just don't have a whole lot of snaps to judge his play off of. But from what I've seen, he's able to just not be a liability. He can make open field tackles. He's smart about run lanes in the box. And basically, if Jay Reed or if Eric Murray gets injured, he can step in and there won't be like too big of a drop off as long as we do keep him in the box, because I've never even seen him play deep. And playing in the box means that he's going to have to match up against tight ends every once in a while, and that was something that he was pretty decent at. There were good reps, there were bad reps. I love his physicality here at the stem, and he's not atrocious here. Yet again, like, he's not a liability in any way. He's just not really like a huge positive, and that's what you'd expect for the contract that we signed him 2 and the player that he has been for his entire career. And so like I said, there were good reps and there were bad reps, and we got to watch the bad reps to see who Michael Thomas really is. And he plays great coverage here. He's physical throughout the route. He undercuts it, is in great position, but then the ball's just thrown just over his head to the point where he can't reach it and he can't make a play on the ball. But damn, was he smothering this tight end the entire way. That had to be a perfect throw, and a perfect throw can always beat good coverage. And so while he did allow a catch, I mean, what else more can you really expect him to do? Even if he dives out and lunges for that ball, he's not going to be able to get to that. That's just an amazing throw. So we showed the good, we showed the bad, which really wasn't too bad, and now we're going to show the ugly, and that's Michael Thomas in off-man coverage. And we saw in the first 2 plays, when he's able to get physical with tight ends, he can slow them down, but when he's not and he's forced to make transitions like these, it looks pretty bad. He gets his hips flipped inside too early here, and so when the route's going outside, it's just too much for him to be able to flip outside and make a smooth cut. And so while he doesn't allow a catch here, this dude's as wide open as you can get. And so as a safety, you're not always going to have the most fluid hips, but Michael Thomas, he's been working out with the footwork king, who's worked out with so many different players across the NFL and improved their games. And just like Lonnie Johnson, he's been putting in work. So hopefully he can get better in this aspect, because it's not a strength of his. Hip fluidity, making transitions, footwork, stuff like that. But at least he knows, he recognizes the problem, and he's putting in the work to improve upon that. So I love that. So that's going to do it for my Michael Thomas film breakdown. I know it was shorter than usual, but it was because we just don't really have that much snaps to go through, and as exhilarating as it was to watch Giants 2018 and 2019 special teams snaps, I just couldn't keep doing that to myself, man. So while I was a little let down by Michael Thomas's film overall, I think he's still going to be just a fine third safety who can come in occasionally and make plays in the run game or cover tight ends in man. He should take on that Jaleel Addae role, and he'll be a more dependable tackler in my opinion. I don't want to ever see Addae miss a tackle on Hunter freaking Renfro and have him taken to the house. I'm tired of that. I'm excited to see Michael Thomas on special teams, and maybe if we run that same fake punt against the Chiefs, but this time we hand it off to Michael Thomas? You never know. So if you enjoyed the video, please do hit that like button, subscribe for more content, and comment down below your thoughts on the video. Would love if y'all could check out the Texans Unfiltered website, where we've got articles about all things Texans and podcast episodes. You can find us on all your typical podcast platforms, and we go live every Tuesday night at 9 Central on this very YouTube channel, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, all of that good stuff. Would really appreciate it if you could check us out. The links will be in the description. Alright, this was Jordan or Texans Thoughts. Hope you enjoyed and come back for more. Take care, everyone.